Hi everyone, it's Phil here from Ashland Leather, and I've got a little bit of bittersweet news. I've decided to say goodbye to my small zip wallet, and while I've loved it very much for the last couple months since we released this, I've decided to pick up this Fat Herbie, which I'd like to show you just after we talk about the small zip. The reason I'm surprised that I like this wallet so much is because I wear my wallet in my back pocket, and that is not what we had in mind when we first developed the small zip. We actually were thinking more along the lines of somebody putting all their cards and cash and other stuff inside, zipping it closed, and then tossing it inside of a bag. That way you don't have to worry about all your cards and stuff falling out. That was the original intention, but I really found it to be a great back pocket wallet. There's one small gripe that I had personally about the small zip wallet, at least for my use case, is I have a lot of cards and a lot of cash. I put my little Apple AirTag in the center slot here, which we actually had envisioned using this for coins on this little center spot here. What I didn't like about this is because I had so many cards, it was a little bit difficult to shuffle through and find out exactly what I was looking for. But what you can do, and what I found to be very useful, is put my lesser used cards on the left and right side. There's actually two little card slots here on the left and two little card slots here on the right. I put most of my cards in these sections here, these two larger gusseted sections. That's where I found it to be most easily accessed to get my cards inside and out. You can also fit folded cash in that section. But the reason I'm moving away from this is we had this tumbled natural shell cordovan Fat Herbie that was a private stock wallet. I've actually never really taken one of our private stock wallets off and used it for myself before, but this one was just so special, and I was actually honestly surprised that nobody picked this up for a couple weeks here that's been up. But man, check out the tumble pattern on this tumbled natural shell. And I should mention, this piece of tumbled natural shell is a little bit darker, a little bit more golden than some of the other tumbled natural shells that we've seen. It's almost more like a tumbled whiskey, although the tannery tells me that this was indeed tumbled natural. It seems like it might have picked up a little bit of extra oil and wax, maybe a little bit of extra greases in the tumbling process that might have darkened up the color a bit. But that texture on this particular Herbie, I thought this would be the first one to go, but it seems like it's going to be the last one to go. I just thought this texture on this tumbled shell was remarkable. Some of the coolest pieces of leather that I've ever seen. So I've loaded this guy up. I've got a couple bills in the back, and I've got all my cards on the inside here. And I just loaded this up about 5 minutes ago with about 4 cards in each of the slots. So it has not yet conformed to all the cards inside of here. But the reason I'm switching back to this one, not only is that leather absolutely remarkable, I think this is some of the coolest shell cordovan that I have seen, but also I want to see how it patinas. On the tumbled shells, that tumbling process really opens up the fiber of the shell. And what we've seen in the past from our customers is because the shell has been opened, it tends to develop a remarkable patina. And the other thing is the Fat Herbie. This was our original wallet. This is our flagship wallet for Ashland Leather. And I love this wallet for a back pocket wallet. And even fully loaded with all those cards and cash, this will lay flatter in my back pocket, even compared to something like the small zip here, just to give you a size difference. As this is unloaded, the small zip on the left, unloaded is just about the same thickness as the Fat Herbie that is fully loaded. So I want to try this one out. There's one other thing I wanted to mention today is we have some Gus Card Cases up on our website right now. We've marked those down with a little bit of a discount. And this is our business card case. At least we had business cards in mind when we developed this product. And I think this wallet is a little bit confusing because of this unique flap closure. There's no buttons, there's no belly band to go around the top to stick this flap into to keep it closed. We're relying heavily on the veg tan character of the leather to mold and stay conformed around everything inside. So I think that's a little bit confusing. And then also how it loads up. So there are 2 compartments on the inside of the Gus Card Case, and we made these slots a little bit wider just because most business cards are a little bit wider. You can also fit folded cash in the back here. So you can fit a bunch of stuff into each of these slots. And then this flap closure, the reason we didn't put a snap on here, I just found it to be easier to use because you don't have to unsnap anything or fold anything into a band. You'll just rely on the veg tan character to keep everything snug inside of there. Just give it a couple days just to mold and conform to all the stuff inside. There's a couple other things I want to mention. I picked up some Grantstone brass boots in tan Essex to wear for the stitch down patina Thunderdome, but I also picked up some Oak Streets here. So this is the Oak Street field boot in natural horse butt. And this is actually a leather from a different tannery than we normally use. Most of the stuff I get is from Horween. This is a veg horse butt from Merriam. And it's actually pretty nice. It reminds me a little bit of a combination of two different Horween products, like the Essex, if you're familiar with that. It's kind of like a cross between the Essex and the horsehide strips. I've worn these for one day. Right now on my feet, I'm wearing the Grant Stone brass boots, which I'm really loving, but both of these fit me very nicely, and they're both very light colors. So hopefully over the course of the next few months, we'll be able to see just how nicely these boots wear in. And the last thing I want to mention before I put my brand new Fat Herbie in my pocket is that we've got a podcast going. Check out the Full Grain Podcast with me and Nick Horween. You can find it on Apple Podcast, on Spotify. I've been putting up some clips on another YouTube channel called Full Grain Podcast. I'll leave the link in our description here below. And doing the podcast with Nick is really fun for me because I get to hang out with my buddy, but also we're talking to a bunch of great guests. So I think coming out next week, we've actually got Brett Viber coming on the show. Definitely not going to want to miss that one. So thanks for checking out the video today. Thanks for checking out my brand new Fat Herbie. Sorry to see it go, but it's going to go in my pocket. All right, till next time, I hope you have a good one.